That he was fixing it. I said no. He was putting it back. No. No. Yeah, it's okay. Easily movable. I don't know that I'm a good judge for this height thing, so. I know. I know. That over. It's for a sitting mic, but that way you don't have to worry about it when it's all locked in space. I don't know if we're gonna have anybody else or whatever, and they're already on, so.
I will call the public hearing to order regarding Bill 25180, amending the zoning districts map of the city of Mansfield, Ohio, ordinance 04208, to rezone one parcel located at and around Annandale Avenue, Mansfield, Ohio, from zoning classification B1 Neighborhood Business District to B2 General Business District classification and declaring an emergency. Do we have anyone here to address this topic?
We're the
Okay, we have the owners here. Is there anybody else? All right. If you can come, yes, if you can come up to the microphone and just state your name and address.
This one here. Jessica Dameron, Brian Dameron. It's Annandale. There's not an official address yet, but Annandale, Mansfield, Ohio.
Okay. So the public hearing is if there's any concerns from the general public. Is there anybody, neighbors of this parcel here tonight to address this? No? Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Well, so we are in the very beginning stages. This is our first time ever trying to rezone, so we're kind of learning as we go. We originally bought the property wanting to put storage units, so we wanted to do storage units, but also exterior storage. We have no plans drawn up yet because we weren't sure if we were able to make this change. So we've been here. I think this is our third time.
Yeah.
We would love to hear your guys' concerns of why the change isn't able to be made. That way we kind of have some direction going forward.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Folkett?
Thank you. I think some of the concerns is it's right up against the residential area on a couple of sides. I do know on the south side it's B2 already. So I can see where we're on one of those split areas. Where do you keep going or do you stop? There's also some concerns and restrictions when you start putting the driveways in and the space that's required. And there's some requirements that you can't have the driveway coming out into a residential house. So I'm learning a lot of this stuff too. And I dug into it deeper because I found out it was a split vote. I left the meeting it was a split vote. So I wanted to look a little deeper. But those are a couple of concerns. And there's a residential multi-unit apartment right next to on the one side. There's houses on the other side. So even though there's a B2 down underneath it, it's kind of not helping in my eyes because of the driveway going out into that small residential street.
Gotcha.
It's not like a good state route street or something like that. So that's some of my concern. And then not only a lot of times we hear a great plan, and we say, okay, maybe, but 5, 10, 15 years from now, you decide I'm going to sell it. Well, it's already B2. So the next guy comes in and he may edge further into the B2 further than what we might be comfortable with.
Okay.
So sometimes that's why we would maybe hold back a little bit. So that's kind of my opening comments on it. I don't know if anybody else had anything.
I do. Thank you, Ms. Chairwoman.
Robertson.
I'm going to echo what Councilman Falquette said. Part of that other concern was too, is that little residential area there, it's a kind of a small street. And when you get talking about bringing things into there, heavy equipment, or when you up it to another zoning, what could possibly go in there and how that's going to impact that neighborhood. And although that's Madison Township, I believe right there, because it goes in and out.
Yeah.
I know that those are some concerns there too. I don't think that anyone's here today from there, but that was one of the others. And again, the apartments and the residential on the east and west side.
And I got the signatures from the apartments and
Yeah.
like 12 other individuals, giving me their backing, so.
Yeah, before we had purchased, they did let us know that we had to obtain certain signatures. So we tried to do that before making the purchase because obviously if we couldn't get the signatures, we didn't want to make the purchase. I will say, so prior to us owning it, there was a company, RD Construction. So there was a lot
It
of,
a dump site.
yeah, which they did have a lot of heavy equipment coming in and out just in general, just on a day-to-day basis. So for us, under construction, yes, there is going to be heavy equipment, but would be temporary. And with our idea with the storage units is it should be low traffic because it's not something where most people are coming in and out like on a daily. They're just kind of coming and going as they need a few things. So we were hoping, that would be ease of traffic because I do understand there is no other option to have any other entry the way it's set up. But the neighbors seemed pretty open. We didn't have anybody that gave us a hard time about it at all.
Yeah, the list of signatures that they requested, I had 2 that I just couldn't make contact with them. Everybody else signed. No
Yeah.
problem.
Thank you.
Mr. Diaz?
Thank you. Is this the property right next to the apartment complex?
To the left of the apartment the reformatory owns the property on the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking like when you're coming to Augsburg, you turn right on Annandale and you keep going and going.
Yep.
And then there's that big area where they're fixing something, and then there's the apartment. So that's the area we're talking
To
about?
the left of the apartment.
Okay,
yes.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So you have
All right.
like the apartments and then vacant on
All
each
right.
side of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anyone from the administration want to address this, either from permitting and development or from the administration?
I mean, it did go through planning commission and it was passed. No,
No.
it was
No.
recommended.
Split,
Okay.
and
That was the one I missed. My
Yeah.
apologies.
That's okay.
Take
Got me
one
really
day off.
excited for a second. though.
Sorry.
It was a negative motion.
Yeah.
It made the denial,
Okay.
and it passed.
Okay. Is the primary reason what I'm hearing the storage units?
Yeah,
Or
so from my understanding, I've talked to Mark Milliron and John Thope.
John Tharp? Mhm.
Over the last couple months, I
Mhm.
think even pushing a year now. And it's the future plans of the storage units, from what I
Mhm.
understand. You know, like if I want to do boat and RV winter storage, from
Mhm.
what I understand, that's perfectly fine. But in the future, to do storage and actually build structures,
Mhm.
then I need to be the B2.
Adrian, if you correct me if I'm wrong, if I think there was a square footage requirement or an acreage requirement with
B1.
B1.
Yeah, there's a minimum 3 acres on that. So I think what it actually boiled down to was some of just the basic parking zoning requirements, because you are adjacent to lots, even though they're not in the city,
Right.
that are residential use. And
Correct.
so that requires additional buffers and setbacks, that
Mhm.
has driveway restrictions, including not being across. I mean, our ordinance says you can't be across from a residential dwelling unit, which you are in that case.
Okay.
So I think that was some of the planning commission's mindset, and the denial was just that our ordinance strictly the zoning says you can't do this. Now they do have the ability, of course, to grant a variance in those cases, but that was some of the restriction there.
Yeah, and I do know when we first started to buy it, it was in the auditor side is 3.12
It was.
acres. And then when we got the survey done, it came back as 2.57 or something like that.
We found that out last
Yeah.
minute. Yeah.
Mr. Diaz?
Thank you so much. I will say that the area is, on the cusp of Madison and the area that I represent. And I will say that as of now, I've not heard any opposition from any of the residents over there. So
Actually, that neighborhood's pretty happy that we got the dump site.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe kick down on some rodents in the neighborhood. But,
Yeah.
and we're about 3/4 of the way done with that. And we have plans of finishing that, probably this winter.
Yeah.
Once we slow down. So.
Chairman Mount.
Go ahead.
If you were to be held at B1, can you do something with the property that would work for you?
That I don't know, because B1 back in there's kind of weird. It's not a good place for a barber shop.
Yeah.
Who's going to have a drive-through back there?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's B1 now is really kind of just weird.
Yeah. We've
Um,
definitely looked into the different
yeah, like-
options.
Put a liquor store back there, it's just like, it don't make sense. And, it's like, and then like you talk about traffic, and it's
Yeah.
like, put a liquor store back there that has 20
Or
cars that
drive-through.
go through an hour. Or a storage facility that they drop off their boat in September and they pick it up in May.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So the driveway, I'm sorry, Ms. Mount. Councilman Falquet, you was mentioning about the driveway issue in the zoning. Can you re-explain that again?
So the driveway is 79 feet wide, but there's a requirement that they have a 40-foot buffer from the residential
Right. So
person on the
it's
east.
in 1179 in the zoning ordinances. It's off-street parking regulations. Each entrance and exit from any off-street parking lot, which would be their entire lot basically
Yeah.
at that point, but shall be located at least 40 feet away from any adjacent property zoned R1 or R2 or developed for 1 or 2 family dwellings. And then before that, it actually states the ingress and egress from a parking lot or loading area for an office or business shall not be across land zoned R1, R2, or developed for 1 or 2 family dwellings. So those are the two big pieces with that factor that were looked at.
It's-
Yeah, and the fact that it was like a
he's got
dump site
almost
for
80 feet.
for
Well,
construction
half the
demolition,
buffer to this
it'd be
house.
kind of hard to, even
40
like
foot
do a
maybe is wide.
multifamily back there and run sewer lines and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
did
where
think of
we
that.
The
thought
other restriction
Parking lot,
is
slab
having
concrete
these
storage units,
turning
we can utilize the
residential
property, we
people
can
directly
generate some
across our
money, some
driveway.
tax revenue, and utilize the property that's been vacant for so long. So
Adrian, with the changes that we made in the conditional use of storage units, I mean, do you think that that is able to be a fit here where we're not changing the zoning, but they're able to move forward on some units? I know we do have, I mean, it was, yeah.
Sure. Because I think we have that as a minimum of 3 acres, but if that can be granted a variance,
Mhm.
you know, if that's a possibility in there, I would say that, you know, we can certainly look at that. Yeah, lot size of 3 acre, yeah.
Nice.
So I think if I'm understanding it right now, it's currently zoned B1. To be B1, it needs to be 3 acres to develop on it, and it's 2.57
Right. And then this
for the storage
is
unit.
big.
Okay.
There's a big,
The unique thing about this is that there's no opposition from the neighbors
yeah.
to any of the meetings that have occurred, but we have that glitch with it not fitting the code. So this went through as a request for a rezone rather than a variance. So I kind of wondered the same if a variance could be looked at for this parcel.
That might be I have the language in front of us. So mini warehouses are storage facilities for storage of vehicles and goods not involving regular truck traffic. So, you know, we're not looking for a warehouse here. And only minimal loading and unloading. Such conditional use shall require approval of the planning commission, minimum lot size 3 acres, lighting restrictions known as dark sky compliant, and muted colors. Those are really the things. So to Councilwoman Mount's point, if you're really thinking storage is the way to go, that might be the better option here. Let's bring it back to planning commission and see if we can get a variance for it, because that way
Okay.
we're not tying I think the concern from, I would assume planning commission, even though I wasn't there, is once we go B2, it really opens the door pretty
Understand.
wide to other things. Yeah, but
I understand that.
yeah, but with what you're saying you want to do, it seems like there's a way to work that, especially since you don't have opposition from your neighbors.
Yeah,
So,
and most of them, you know, so those are all small lots.
yep.
And ever since the pandemic, everybody's got a camper.
Yep.
And, and when you got a lot that's only 60 foot wide and your house is 40,
Yep.
and the camper gets jammed in there, and then it becomes an eyesore.
Yep.
So we just see an opportunity there, and we're trying to move forward on that.
Sure.
So,
Okay. Well, that would be my recommendation then, is if we do that, obviously it just, for a variance, you'd come to planning commission. Planning commission would either approve it or disapprove it. You don't have to come back to council then. So
Okay.
it's a little bit more straightforward process.
Well,
So,
then we can actually get some plans together.
Yes.
Then at that point. Okay.
yes, yes.
That's good news. That's
Yeah.
good news.
Better than a no.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, you have Mr. Diaz?
Thanks, Chairwoman. I support it. I mean, I think
Thank
that's
you.
like, we have a smart mayor. She knows what she's talking about. Easier route there, because that's an area that has been unutilized for a long, long time. I remember going over there 4 years ago and not knowing what the heck it was. So the fact that you want to develop over there, and you're right, it's your storage units. It's not going to be high traffic anyway. And quite frankly, we are in dire need of storage units for a variety of reasons. So good luck. I think you're going to get it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, is there anything else for this public hearing?
Okay.
All right, I will
right.
close the hearing at 7:04. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, at 7:04, I will call the session of Mansfield City Council Caucus meeting to order. Are there any committee reports? Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few before our first meeting in December. Just wanted to remind everyone that this Saturday is Small Business Saturday. What that means is all the different independent businesses are going to be open with all kind of cool sales just in time for the holidays. In addition to Small Business Saturday is some pretty new first-time businesses downtown who will be able to say they participated. And that includes Modern Revive, which is a consignment boutique in place where the former Dream Huge and Squirrel's Den was at. There's the Fizz 48 and Grandpa's Candy Shop, just a few new folks who we encourage you to visit for this Saturday. And just the remainder of the announcements I wanted to put out there, because I know that we are live streamed and it goes on YouTube, and that's for Thanksgiving. We're fortunate to have a community that gives back, whether it's food pantries and people just organizing free meals. And I did want to quickly go through 4 here that'll be available during Thanksgiving. That is Thanksgiving Day, the LX, which is 28 North Main Street, will be having community meals free from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. One thing I like to go visit is the annual Candace Williams Helping Hands Foundation. From 1 to 4, they've provided meals. They provide meals for anyone, and for those who cannot be there person at the friendly house, if they call ahead of time, they can have a meal delivered to them. If you're also looking for a volunteer opportunity, they do look. Candace Williams, they encourage people to come as early as 9 if you don't want to really be there for the meals, but you can help sort meals and cut everything. It's a big production, and I know it's all volunteer based. So there's that. There's a Mansfield Seventh-day I can't pronounce it. Adventist Church. See, I went to school, so I almost said adventure here. They're having a noon to 2 o'clock lunch as well. Their dinner. They're located at 1040 Cook Road. So please pass it on. And then finally, People Helping People. They provide meals, rain or shine, 7 days a week, regardless. And so Thanksgiving is no exception. They'll be serving meals at the Picnic Pavilion, which is located on Bowman and 4th Street. And that's going to be at noon. So again, if you're looking for a meal yourself, someone who is, or you're looking for an opportunity to give back in the flesh, there is that. And that concludes my community announcements.
Okay, moving on. Mayor?
Just a couple things, late breaking, but tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., there will be a ribbon cutting. That's why I was carrying the giant scissors in tonight for the conversion of KV Market to Save a Lot on West 4th Street. So encourage you to come out and join the Buller family. We appreciate their investment and helping us provide fresh food to what would otherwise be a food desert in our community. So that will be at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Main Street, as you can see, is continuing on. The intersections should be open following Thanksgiving. So of course, you never know with construction, but that is the planned closure time. We had a good meeting with Kokosing a couple of weeks ago and talked through some of the timing issues. Now, Mother Nature has gotten cold right when we didn't want her to, but they are working hard on that, and hopefully we will see some relief as far as the through traffic being able to get through. Things will quiet down then in December before starting back up in the spring. And yes, it's going to stay dug up. Some of it will stay dug up through the winter, but they are going to be pouring some temporary sidewalks in front of both of the banks in that plaza. We know that's very narrow there and it needs to be fixed. And the last thing, I was able to attend our firefighters union. They are celebrating 100 years as a union, and attended their event a couple weekends ago in downtown Mansfield. Wanted to just say thank you to them for supporting downtown, especially during this time, and appreciate their president, Mike Blair, for inviting the administration to attend. Thanks.
Director Andrews?
We had our first snow event on Monday, and we had 11 plow trucks out, and we were able to do the best job that we could because it all happened within a couple of hours. I mean, I was coming from Lucas and came into Mansfield. It was almost like a blizzard. So, but we were able to test our equipment and be able to test some of the things that we were working on so that we can improve our snow plowing in the city. We were able to finish installing swings at the King Street playground area. We put in a set of 6 swings there. That was something that was missing. So those were installed this past week. Also, you can see that the Christmas decorating is ongoing. We started over a week ago. We have the streetscape, and we also have our company, Pacific Impressions, that's decorating the the main Central Park area. So as you leave tonight, you'll be able to see all the decorations that we put up there as well. And then we had a donated 30-foot blue spruce that we will putting up at the carousel for a Christmas lighting ceremony, which will be on December 5th at the carousel. That's still on, and we're looking forward to having snow to get the Christmas spirit. That's all.
But not till then.
Not till then. Yes, exactly.
Director Porch.
Thank you, Mr. President. So for some personnel changes, so our radio room currently was being managed by Mark Huckleberry along with, and he was also doing double duty of managing our IT department. So we have moved Mark Huckleberry to IT. So he is our current manager of that department. So I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. And we rehired Jerry Botdorf. Jerry Botdorf was our previous ops supervisor who went down to the crime lab and then left for a short while, missed us so much, wanted to come back. So we're definitely glad to have him back. For the PD, we'll be accepting lateral applications by the end of February. We currently sit at 89 officers. We're budgeted for 91. But of course, we had an officer just give us notice that he's resigning and took a position with Tampa Police Department. So he'll be departing for Florida. And the fire department will be accepting a new spill truck that they ordered. That will be arriving here in the first week of December. And then that will be stationed at station number 4. And that particular piece of equipment will be utilized for hazmat incidents. So they had an extremely old engine they were using for that. So that we downgraded an engine. We're going to be using essentially a pickup truck that's outfitted for spills. So I think more efficient. So, and obviously cheaper to operate. So we're looking forward to that equipment. And that's all I have, sir.
Director Converse.
Thank you. I wanted to share some quick stats on the city's financial position as of October 31st. Our income tax revenue is at 85% of the budget with 83% of the year gone. And we are still 1% down from last year's level in income tax. General fund revenue is at 89% of the budget, and it is up 2% over 2024, largely due to property tax receipts from the county. The water revenue is at 81% of budget, so it is still low and also 3% less than 2024 level. Sewer is starting to rebound. It is at 86% of budget and only 1% less than last year's level. As far as expenditures go, everybody is still below their level for this point in the year. A lot of their budgets, though, are already encumbered between anticipated expenses between now and the end of the year. So there's not a lot left that isn't appropriated. So we're just going to keep a close eye on how the rest of this year goes. And also we're still working on, the budget for next year. I mean, what you have tonight is the temporary budget, but, always looking at information that might change any of the assumptions that we have in that document. We're also getting ready to prepare for tax season coming up. So I wanted to ask whether any of you have any opinions or have heard from any of your constituents about our income tax operations. If there are pain points for anyone or suggestions for improvement that you would like to pass along, I am ready to receive and take that into consideration as you would like to send it. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Director Madden.
Yeah, no updates from the law office. Thank you.
Okay, we shall then proceed with legislation, and our first piece of legislation this evening is Bill 25-176, and Mr. Folkevich.
Thank you, Mr. President. This one is our annual authorization for the payment of indigent criminal defendants. We work with Richland County Commissioners on this. Generally passes without any problems. I did ask the Director Converse, got some history in case anybody wanted to know. In 2021, this cost us $122,000. In 22, it was $137,000. In 23, it was $139,000. 24 was 146,000, and we'll say October 31st it was 105,000. So not radically changing. Gives you an idea when you vote for this how much it would impact the budget.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or discussion on Bill 25-176? Okay, hearing none. Bill 25-177, Mrs. Meyer.
Thank you, sir. 25-177 will be to authorize the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with J-Star Equipment from Greenwich to purchase a Bush Hog brand rotary cutter used for land management at Mansfield Lam Airport.
Any discussion on Bill 25-177? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to Bill 25-178, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill will be amending Section 505.2 of Chapter 505 for animals and fowl of the City of Mansfield's codified ordinances of 1997 and will be adding Section 505.19 to Chapter 505. Now, this is just before caucus this evening. And I did kind of want to draw a little bit of attention to a few things in this before we move on. First of all, I would like to commend the citizens group that contributed to this and our administration for working together on this. One of the things that we've talked about a lot in the last 2 years is the integration of the community into the efforts that we make here at City Hall. And this has been an excellent example of that. The way that this discussion was handled and the thoughtfulness that went into the preparation of this legislation is much appreciated. And yes, we are once again returning to the subject of backyard hens for our residents here within the city limits of Mansfield. And a couple things that I did want to point out, because we've been through this before and there has been a lot of controversy in the past. One of the very first things that is noted in here is that roosters are prohibited. We are not to have more than 6 hens per property, and that there are steps that people need to take in order to be eligible for the registration of these hens. So, you know, as we've discussed this over the years, people get worried. But this, like I said, is a very thoughtfully laid out piece of legislation. Now, Adrian let us know right before council this evening that in section 4, in section 4, we are removing letter C under the COOP requirements, just as an FYI to everyone, because C is a duplication of E. So by the time we see this next week, just know, or not next week, but in 2 weeks, the next time this rolls back around. All right, thank you.
Is there any other discussion, comments, questions on Bill 25-178? Mr. Diaz?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to echo Councilwoman Burns a lot. I remember I didn't really pay attention to local government and never came to city council meetings. But I remember that I came that year and that was at the peak of Chicken Gate. I remember like, what is going on here? And I remember sitting back here and just you had folks who were so opposed to it with good points, and you had the people who were for it who had some very colorful antics. The community leaders that came together for this, I commend you because I think it was a great job. You did your homework. I think learned from the mistakes of the folks who pursued it last time, but most important, you educated a lot of us, and I really love seeing the community able to meet with the mayor and our administration, have these open conversations and still be chicken neutral, but also have the courtesy and respect to listen. And I just want to commend you guys for doing this differently and, in my opinion, the right way. Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion on 25-178?
Mr. President.
Yes, Mayor.
I just wanted to add in that I want to thank the team that approached us on this. That was started back in the spring. And a conversation came up when I was visiting a local homeschool group. Hey, why don't we have chickens? What can be done about this? And Councilwoman Burns, Councilwoman Mount, and others also came in. I do want to thank Director Ackerman. She helped drive a lot of this, as well as our Deputy Director, Dave Madden. We had some good meetings. And one of the concerns that I know I have seen, I followed a little bit of what people were saying online when this unrolled was, are we going to be able to keep up with it? And we had a lot of good conversation about that. We have a lot of, our codes department is very busy. We did just make a recent change. We added, we have 2 inspectors. We have now promoted someone to be a code enforcement supervisor. He was one of our former inspectors, knows the job very well, Jason Ramirez. He's going to do a fantastic job in that role. And I have full faith under Director Ackerman that we can keep up with this. We did set it up in a way that the inspection happens on the front side. And then, we're not expecting, we do not think we're going to have as many chickens in the city as we do dogs. I know that's another thing that has been talked about a lot. We have talked with the group about what happens if a chicken is picked up in the middle of the night. Where are we taking it? I think that's been a thorough process in this. I know the police department will ask that. So, we really have tried to answer for all of the questions, but we did set this up obviously so that we can have 3 full reads and really hear feedback from the entire community. So, I did say, that's why Councilman Diaz said that when I ran, I was chicken neutral. I don't feel it's, particularly one way or the other, but I feel confident in the legislation that we brought forward, that it will provide the protections that's needed for property owners while allowing people some flexibility to save money for their family and help raise another animal. So thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions on 178? Okay. Seeing none, we shall move on to Bill 25-179. Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. The long-awaited once a year or twice a year temporary budget appropriations are here in this bill. Tonight, I would like to hopefully get the floor yielded to the mayor. She has a slide presentation to talk about it. I also want some feedback from my fellow council people on how much time they want to peel the onion on this. We certainly can take a couple more reads on it and finish it up mid-December on our second December meeting. So if you would, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, allow the mayor to speak.
I will allow the mayor to speak.
Okay. Heath, if you don't mind, if you can cue that up for us. So this is our second budget that Director Converse and I have been able to put together from the start. And this was something that I have seen other cities do, and I wanted to kind of take a stab at it this year for giving you a little bit of a high level perspective of what's involved in the budget. I don't know, would you rather start with income, or do you want, we didn't really talk about which order you want me to go? Okay. All right. So a few things to note here. So we're going to start under fiscal strengths. This is a balanced budget. So using the income that we have in carryover, we did do a general fund budget that is flat. It actually decreases by $325,000, which is a lot of money, but not a lot of money when you look at the number right next to it of $37 million. But we really worked hard. Obviously, this year we closed out the contract with AFSCME, giving some pretty healthy raises to workers that were overdue. And so I worked really hard when going through this to keep our spending flat. We're in an economy that is flat. It's not going down, a ton, but it's also not skyrocketing at the moment. We do have some good economic development projects that I think will be coming down the pike, which give me a lot of hope for 2026 and beyond. But we really worked hard to make sure that even with the increases that we had made on personnel, we cut back on the operation spending to keep things flat. The general fund spend is proposed at $37,776,007. And I wanted to give you a little bit of insight on how that breaks down. Public Works is 40. So this is non-general fund money, just so you to keep this in mind. Our Public Works Department, which is water, sewer, streets, and parks, so none of those are supported by the general fund, adds up to $40 million, almost $41 million. So this is covering everything from our treatment plants, our road resurfacing, anything in between, the parks work that we're doing. Safety services, which is police, fire, as well as our 911 dispatch, is 34 million, just about 35 million. And right now, in addition, of course, we have a safety service tax levy that is accounts for that, but we also have to use about 54% of the general fund to cover the safety forces. So it's an important thing, and we are still in the middle of negotiations with our two unions there. On the next slide, quality of life highlights. So just some things here that, what is included in the budget? What does it matter to the citizen? Well, we are going to be undertaking, as we've talked about before, the renovation of the historic Liberty Park Pavilion. That was the bathhouse, as was built by the WPA in the 1930s. We're saving that thanks to grants, but also some city dollars are going into that. We have budgeted, this has been a request every year, fireworks on the 4th of July. Next year is America's 250th anniversary. We are talking with Mansfield Speedway about working together on that. So there is money in that, as well as continuing fireworks on New Year's Eve. We will be completing the Parkview Bike and Pedestrian Trail through Middle Park, Lower South Park, and Maple Lake Park. The Ultimate Frisbee golf, disc golf will be going in, and some other things for that. And then we are planning for the next phase of the bike trail extension, and that would be along Trimble Road from Marion to Millsboro Roads. So nothing will be built on that, but we're going to be undertaking the planning. On public safety highlights, as noted, we did receive that COMPS grant from the federal government, which we are super appreciative of. So this budget does include the funding for 91 officers, an increase of 4 officers, and maintains our fire staffing at 93. We are keeping the public safety drone responder pilot project for another year. Appreciate the leadership that Director Porch and our 2 chiefs have provided. There's some great stories about how that drone has really helped both our police and fire departments. So we're excited to keep that. Now, I do want to, my wording on this next one probably is better, and I don't want Mark Huckleberry coming after me. So the full implementation of the CAD, the computer aided dispatch system, really has been done, but we are continuing that forward. There is an ongoing cost there with that. And we are very excited to be just about fully staffed in 911. As Director Porch said earlier, we have 1 supervisor position, and that's the first time in a long time that the radio room has been fully staffed or very close. And then we have increased level of training for our first responders, both police and fire. We are very thankful to get grants from the state on both sides, but we really have increased that under this administration, and that is maintained in here. Under roads and infrastructure, we will be resurfacing about 23 miles of roads. Of course, that is funded by the tax that was renewed earlier this year. We'll be having, as we always do, the engineer will be here talking about which roads they are. They go through a very robust process of how they pick the roads that they do. And they're talking about a few ways that they can also add to the program next year. Of course, it will be year number 2 for water main replacements, and we will be doing 5 miles. So that's about 2 miles more than we did in 2025. And that really was just because of how the tax revenues came in. We had to start a little bit smaller this year. I do want to give a shout out. Our engineering department is handling that. So year 1, we had to outsource the engineering for that project this year internally. Mr. Bianchi and Mr. Wood were able to work together on this and saving the city a lot of money and allowing us to put more money into the actual replacement of the water mains. We will be doing some plant upgrades at the wastewater treatment plant. And of course, we're all eagerly anticipating the completion of the Main Street Improvement Project. And last but certainly not least, economic development highlights. In the budget, we have money to continue the economic development contract with the chamber, as well as continuing to help fund Destination Mansfield and Downtown Mansfield Incorporated. We will be doing the Mansfield Comprehensive Plan in conjunction with the other partners that we talked about at the last meeting. We are planning for future industrial parkland. So we have been industrial park land. Saying parkland sounds different. So I wanted to just make sure everyone understands. We are working with our friends at the chamber on that and hope to have some news on that as well. And this year we kicked off the Mansfield Community Improvement Corporation, which is a public-private entity that we are using to assist with economic development deals. So we will have the first full year of operations under that. And, you know, again, like I said, I do believe we'll be having some very good announcements coming here soon. So from my end, that's it. I will hand it over to Director Converse, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have a whole lot to add. When it comes to budget preparation, our responsibility is estimating the revenue and then handing it off to the mayor to determine how it's going to be spent. But we take a conservative viewpoint in estimating the revenue largely through income taxes because it's our largest source of funding. So we did the same as last year with a 3-year average so that we have, again, like I say, a conservative amount of revenue and without, overestimating where we're going to be. And other than that, we just look at trends, past trends in every revenue line item that we have that feeds every fund in the budget. And then once we put all that together, our department also handles all of the personnel because, when you have someone's salary is not just their salary, it's their pension, it's their health insurance, it's workers' comp, it's all of the things that are attached to that. And when you make a change in one thing, it rolls out all through the other things. So we work closely with the mayor in determining the staffing levels for the departments that are not under our purview, which most of them are hers. And then we just plug those holes in, and then really whatever's left is how we can furnish the rest of the city's operations. And that's how we put it all together.
Are there any questions, discussion on the 179, the budget, and I guess of all council? Okay, cool. Hearing none, I guess we shall move on. I guess we got a very good explanation. So great. Moving on to Bill 25-180, Ms. Mount.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill 25-180 is amending the zoning district's map of the city of Mansfield, Ohio, Ordinance 04208, to rezone one parcel located at and around Annandale Avenue, Mansfield, Ohio, from zoning classification B1, Neighborhood Business District, to B2, General Business District classification, and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion, questions on 180? It was in public hearing, but Ms. Mount?
Just a question, this maybe for the law department, what's the best way to cleanly handle this so that they can go back and apply for the variance? Do we pull it? Do we table it? Do we vote on it? Probably vote it down from the sounds of things to give them a clean slate so they can get this variance started.
The variance application will be distinct from the zoning application. So really, it'd be the will of council as far as how they want to handle this tonight. You could vote it down, you could table it, and they would actually, either way, they would have a clean start because the variance is a separate application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I will, when the comment time is complete, I'll move to pull that piece.
Is there any other discussion on Bill 25-180? Seeing Mr. Falquette.
I'm concerned, but I know you didn't say anything, but I was concerned if we didn't vote it down about an automatic passage. I know there's some things
You
in
know,
the zoning thing that goes along, and if you don't do anything, it's like, okay, boom, it's done. And
you
then
know, maybe it would be wise to vote it down if that's the will of council. Yeah, thank you, Councilman Folka.
But I know Adrian's, oh, I'm sorry. Can I-
You still have the floor.
So I know Adrian's here, and I've just asked that she takes that message to you got the sense. I don't want to speak for all 8 of us, but you got the sense that we were in favor of variance down a little bit on the acreage to keep it B1 for storage units. Thank you.
With that, maybe just for technicality, do you want to withdraw your motion?
It was just a comment that I was considering it, but I will not make that motion. Thank you.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear which way we're going here. Okay. So with that, we shall proceed on. Is there anything else to come before caucus this evening?
Move to close.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. We closed adjourn caucus. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We are adjourned. With that, would everybody please stand? Well, I'll call the session of Mansfield City Council to order. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for the prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Almighty Father, for a wonderful lead up to this meeting. We ask for wisdom and guidance, blessings on Reverend's family and his addition granddaughter. And we ask this through the Almighty. Amen.
And thank you, Mr. Falquette. I apologize for not asking you to do that earlier. With that, the clerk shall call the roll.
Mrs. Burns,
Present.
Mrs. Meyer,
Present.
Mr. Akuchie,
May we be excused?
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Mr. Kuchar be excused. Council shall cast their vote on the motion. Motion passes 7-0.
Miss Daly,
Here.
Mr. Diaz,
Here.
Miss Mount,
Here.
Miss Robertson,
Here.
Mr. Falquette,
Here.
and President Scott.
Present. Unless there is an objection, the reading of the journal and correspondence will be dispensed with. And with that, we shall move into public comments. We do have 5 people signed up for public comment. So, well, it looks like there's a couple that's dual tandem. So anyway, first is Ad Schwope. And once again, for those that are not familiar, you have a 3-minute time limit. And when you come up to the microphone, please state your name and address.
My name is Ad Swope, 86 Westgate Drive. I just want to comment on the chicken thing. I understood everything people said about the chicken coops and stuff. I lived that life. I've been around it. But the thing I'm concerned about, how is that going to be policed? I heard your comments. And the reason I say that is because there's this other issue in this city have not been addressed. 1, leaves being put in the street. 2, grass being blown into the street. 3, people having 2 and 3 cars parked in their driveway that is not running, haven't been running for years. Trash everywhere. And nothing have been done about it. Every time I call a codes and permit, they send somebody out a day or two later, but nothing happened. So that's just my concern with the chicken. Like I say, I live that life. I know what it can be. So I do not want my property going down, but my property tax keep going up. And that's my concern about the chicken coop thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Greg Mudd. Mead. Okay, I couldn't. I'm sorry.
I'm not a very good handwriter. My name is Greg Mead. I live at, I'm a resident and property owner at 350 Park Avenue West here in Mansfield. I'm here for you tonight to urge each of you to approve the proposed ordinance and allow small flocks of hens at residential properties. I've had over 8 years experience raising up to 18 chickens at a time when I lived in Lancaster, Ohio, and was dismayed in 2018 when I moved up here and we were not allowed to have chickens. I can tell you that a small regulated flock is a positive asset to a neighborhood and to neighboring. One of the things about having chickens is a lot of people say it saves costs. For those that have a backyard flock, there's no savings in cost. There's a lot of expense that goes into it. It costs typically more than a cat and a lot more than a dog to have chickens. You have to pay and buy a coop. The feed is very expensive. Caring for them is very expensive, medical, all that kind of stuff. The folks that rely on having cost savings are typically your neighbors when you have way too many eggs. So typically 6 hens, you're going to get at least 5 eggs a day when they're mature, and nobody typically can eat 5 eggs a day. So you share them with your friends and your relatives and your neighbors. So it's time to allow Mansfield residents to join other progressive Ohio cities and allow the residents to take a positive choice to help promote local food security, health, and support sustainability, and to reduce household food waste. And that's the other big thing, especially for folks who throw a lot of things away. Food waste for folks that have chickens, it doesn't go down the garbage disposal. It doesn't go into your trash. It goes to the chickens. Everything goes to the chickens. If it can be consumed, the chickens will eat it. And not only that, the other big thing about having chickens, especially a small flock, I know the ordinance says you cannot free range them, but they love ticks. They love all kinds of bugs. We never had issues with bugs when we had chickens because they eat everything. If it's a moving, they're going to eat it. Snakes, caterpillars, grasshoppers. They'll even go after mice. So it's they're definitely a positive aspect. So the stories you hear about them being dirty, that will happen occasionally, but that's typically the owner's fault, not the chicken's fault. So I hope you approve it and it goes forward. I think it'll be a positive thing for Mansfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kelsey Cunning.
Hello, my name is Kelsey Cunning and I live on 993 West Cook Road. When we moved into my husband's childhood home, we dreamed of someday using the historic farmhouse, which was once the Cook family farm and for generations used by the Cunning family for farming, and 3-story barn on what is now down to 2.98 acres to garden and keep chickens. When I discovered that there is no exceptions under the current 3-acre law, I began pursuing to change the law. The petition I present to you today has 561 signatures, and 77% of the signatures are within city limits. Keeping chickens is not only for selfish reasons, and it is not a new idea. Many cities have already allowed it for years. There are many reasons to consider hen keeping in Mansfield. However, 2 things you should consider today are building community and fighting food insecurity. The United States has a loneliness epidemic, and backyard hens help build community. Building community is already a top priority of Mansfield as we invest in our parks and our downtown. These third places outside of home, school, and work are paramount in cultivating healthy communities. But these aren't the only ways. People connect with community when they want to learn how to keep animals, understand the work required, or to address a problem with their chickens. Research shows that the more interwoven people are in their communities, the less petty crime there is. Hen keeping is one way to connect people in our community. Mansfield struggles with food insecurity, and backyard hens are one solution to combat it. North side of town struggles with food deserts, and people can grow their own food. It decentralizes food sources. Neighbors can share an overabundance of eggs. When commercial food systems are disrupted, such as during the height of COVID-19, or the most recent government shutdown reminds us of how fragile our food systems are for the most vulnerable in our community. People are disconnected from food systems, and this is a way to reconnect people to their food sources. Mansfield has a strong agricultural history, and this would add a chapter in the right direction and honor the memory of Mansfield native Louis Bromfield. I want to thank all of our supporters and those who disagreed with our stance and helped us consider more deeply the parts of the ordinance. Our city administration and council for working with us and for considering keeping legislation to address community building and food insecurity, and all of you for just all the work you do for the city on a daily basis. I do desire to leave you with one consideration. Should responsible citizens be prevented from supplying their own food because of an irresponsible minority? Thank you. And do you want the petition?
Assistant clerk will take it back. Next. Annalise Cunning.
It needs to be a little far here.
Just bend up the microphone. Like hold on to the microphone itself, and it should just there you go.
Yeah, it is. What is the method here?
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. My name is Annalise Cunning, and I live on 993 West Cook Road. I'm 9 years old. This is my friend Presley. Hi, everyone. My name is Presley Newman of Belleville, and I'm 9 years old. Today, I want to talk about why having backyard chickens is important. Taking care of chickens teaches responsibility because they depend on you each and every day. You have to feed them, give them fresh water, collect their eggs, and make sure their coop is clean and safe. When you do all that, you learn how to follow a routine and take care of a living thing. Having chickens also helps build self-worth. It feels really good to know that your hard work keeps them healthy and happy. When you see their eggs they lay, you know that you helped make that happen, and that makes you feel proud of what you can do. And finally, backyard chickens give you more fresh and nutritious eggs than commercial eggs found in large retail stores. They're full of protein and vitamins, and you know exactly where they came from. It teaches you that healthy food doesn't just appear in a store. Sometimes you can grow or produce it right at home. I love to hold chickens a lot. This is why I think having backyard chickens is so special. Thank you. I would like chickens because it will be a great learning experience. I would also like chickens because its eggs will help me learn how to cook eggs better. And did you know that eggs are very healthy for you? Most people are afraid about getting chickens because they are worried the chickens will be too loud. But when you have only hens, it's not very loud. My absolute reason is because they're so cute. Thank you for listening to us. And please, 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 with cherries on top, vote for hen keeping.
Okay, next we have Tammy McQuillan and Charles Butler. I don't know if you're on the same line. I don't know if you're coming up together or. Okay. So Tammy.
Wow, that's kind of unfair that I have to follow that act. My name is Tammy McQuillan, and I live at 1680 Executive Court, Apartment 118 in Mansfield. I just don't think that Mansfield is ready to expand backyard chickens because we don't have the resources to enforce these new proposed regulations. Last I knew, there are only 2 inspectors in the codes department. Mansfield can't even enforce the current regulations that we have on cleaning up after dogs, keeping them on leash or confined, and giving them proper care and training. Both the Richland County Humane Society and the Richland County Dog Pound are at overcapacity with abandoned and neglected dogs. A few years ago, I called the Mansfield police about an aggressive dog that was wandering loose and bothering me and my dogs who were on leash in my home backyard, and this is when I was living in the 3rd Ward. I had thought that Mansfield had a community police officer to respond to such calls, but I was told that, quote, we don't have the resources to answer such calls. Also called the dog warden, but never got a response. Mansfield also has a big problem with illegal dumping. The disposal of chicken waste in residential areas will exacerbate this problem if it's not handled correctly. If food insecurity is a concern, residents can learn to hunt and fish. My family used to have large fish fries with fish taken from local lakes and Lake Erie. And when the perch are running up in Lake Erie, all you have to do is fish from the dock and you bring them in 2 at a time. So I would like to suggest the possible compromises. 1, why not just tweak the current regulations to allow 2 acres instead of 3? And 2, why not allow small community chicken coops in some of the city parks or the existing urban farms like NECIC, if they would be interested, that could be more closely monitored? Why not try that first, see how that goes? Urge City Council to vote no on this backyard chickens proposal. Thank you. And thank you guys for fixing the parking lot on Gray Street at Liberty Park. I was very pleased to see that finally happen. So thank you.
Okay. Charles Butler.
My name's Charles Butler. I live at 653 West Cook Road. A couple weeks ago, council voted on to fining truckers $1,000. So congratulations. Next time you go to the store, buy groceries, thank a trucker. Next time you go get gas, thank a trucker. Next time you order something off of Amazon, thank a trucker. Next time you order off supplies for your job, thank a trucker. Mansfield is nothing but wanting money for things they make up to do and take away way too long to fix. And now the kick, they seem to be stuck on jaywalking backyard chickens. There's more important things like teenagers and young kids coming up missing more and more often. But let's not worry about that. Instead, let's complain about truckers not using the truck route. Apparently, there's a reason. Let's mess with the ones who risk their life every day, the ones who do not know when and if they'll make it home to their families. Are the signs up to date? Is the construction rerouting by sign or currently by GPS? Do you still want your deliveries in areas that aren't accessible? Do you realize how hard it is to turn a rig in areas that are rerouted? Find them green stamps elsewhere. Professional drivers make decisions based on things that non-professional drivers haven't got a clue about. Forever, engineers have built roads and parking lots areas for trucks way too small, yet everyone wants their goods on time every time. Go ride in your rig, go sleep in a slot, go without everything you need. It's time to accommodate large trucks, the very heart of our country. If you got it, they brought it. Maybe finish up road projects before starting 900 others. Every day there's a new temporary close or detour. Nobody believes the road closed signs anymore. I don't, because I go around them. Because the city is out of road construction signs for an never-ending cycle. The money grabbers just want to take money from truckers because they know it's easy theft. When the construction's going on downtown, I can't even tell which lane I'm supposed to use to be in, let alone truckers. How about a little grace during this disruption? So when the truck route is closed or a driver has to go off route to make a delivery detour, they're going to be fined. Ridiculous. What is going on right now downtown with construction every turn you take? Really? That's like entrapment. That's like entrapment. You got this town all messed up. Laws by people who don't know. Laws by people with no clue. All truckers should boycott all deliveries within the city of Mansfield. America has no idea how impossible trucking has become. Drivers get 11 hours to run, then must park for 10. Yet nowhere to park truck stops. Truck stops packed, rest areas closed, shoulders illegal, Walmart lots blocked off. You're expected to disappear in thin air and magically restart your day like nothing happens. This is what we deal with daily. Yes, the city of Mansfield, but you can revote on that legislation. I've looked it up multiple times, but you guys have made your decision. But
You're at 3:30, so wrap it up real quick.
okay, I'm done.
Okay. With that, we shall, let's see. Any committee reports? Any mayor or any directors have anything further? Okay. Then we shall proceed with legislation, and I will call on Miss Daly.
Mr. President, I move with respect to all bills that come before council this evening that the rule requiring reading on 3 different days be suspended and that each bill be read one time by title only.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast a vote on the motion. Motion passes 7-0. So with that, we shall proceed on with legislation. First bill is 25-176. Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-176 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-176.
Authorizing renewal of an agreement with the Richland County Commissioners for payment of counsel fees for indigent criminal defendants and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-176? Hearing nothing, Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-176 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-176. Bill passes 7-0. Bill 25-177. Mrs. Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-177 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-177.
Authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with J-Star Equipment, 256 Township Road, 1381, Greenwich, Ohio, 44837, invoice number C0-0002349, to purchase a Bush Hog brand rotary cutter used for land management at Mansfield-Lom Regional Airport and trade in the currently owned rotary cutter for purchase credit and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-177?
Mr. President.
Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does anybody upstairs know when this is available? Is this fast, slow, and are you going to get it when you need it?
They're going to get it when approved.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion on 177? Okay, hearing none. Mrs. Meyer.
Thank you, sir. I move the bill 25-177 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-177. Bill passes 7-0. And moving on to Bill 25-180, Ms. Mount.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that bill 25-180 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-180.
Amending the zoning districts map of the city of Mansfield, Ohio, ordinance number 04-208 to rezone one parcel located at and around Annandale Avenue, Mansfield, Ohio, from zoning classification B1 Neighborhood Business District to B2 General Business District classification and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-180? Ms. Mount?
Just wanted to say thank you to the owners for explaining your vision and also the administration for helping us understand all the nuts and bolts of this. And thank you for your interest in revitalizing that area. And I'm hopeful that this will help clear the slate so that the variance will be the next best option to go with for that area.
Any other questions, discussion, comments on Bill 25-180? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Mount?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that bill 25-180 be placed upon the floor for final consideration.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Bill 25-180 be placed on the floor for final consideration. Bill fails 7-0. That concludes legislation. Is there anything else to come before council this evening?
Move to close.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. We adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We are adjourned.